We're starting now.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Very long time friend of the show, who I'm going to let introduce himself, because you might be seeing this on video, you might be hearing it on the radio. I highly recommend you watch the video, because if you're only listening to it, you're missing all of this. I thoroughly approve of this, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. And who are you, sir? Again, me with the T. I wouldn't have expected this. It is tea again. You know, I'm trying to be classy. Radhika told me not to drink with my pinky up, so I won't. I'm having tea. And you are, sir.
I'm Tomas Prower. I'm the author of La Santa Muerte, Unearthing the Magic, Mysticism, Death, and longtime friend of B. Dave Walters here.
That's my cue to plug my personal copy of the book. Available in fine retailers nationwide, worldwide, on Amazon, on the interwebs.
Get the close-up.
Yeah, there it is. Got to get it in there. Yes. And what, sir, is... I say it wrong. You always tell me I say it wrong.
La Santa Muerte?
Muerte.
Muerte.
Bro, you got to drop it down. Muerte. I'm from Arkansas.
That was
man.
good, though.
I don't...
Good.
Who or what is La Santa Muerte?
Good question. La Santa Muerte is a Mexican folk saint. Mostly, she's a death itself. If you figure the Grim Reaper, just imagine it feminine, that's La Santa Muerte. And there's cults all over North America, all over the United States, all over Mexico, all over all parts, Spanish-speaking countries. And they meet up in underground groups and they worship death. But it's all a really positive thing. Unfortunately, she has her followers of prostitutes and drug cartel members and assassins, and she's really popular in the prison populations. But, she has some good magic too.
Well, and I mean, it makes sense though, because there's only two things that really unite absolutely all of us, which is birth and death. Because more product placement. For whatever brand water this is, I want, you owe me some royalties.
I'll turn it around.
Mm-hmm. No, it makes total sense. And what made you decide to write this book? I'm just going to intermittently still put the book up. Another reason to watch the video and not just listen to the audio is to see the book.
It's a good cover too. Like I didn't do it. I don't know who did it. Props to the person who did the cover for Llewellyn. Amazing. Thank you.
Shout out to Llewellyn's cover designers. Yes. What made you decide to write this book?
I was previously living in Reno, and then I came back here to Los Angeles.
Reno would make you think a lot about death.
Yeah. But when I came down here to Los Angeles, my friend, who I hadn't seen in a long time, was showing me around town, and we were thinking of stuff that I hadn't done pretty much ever, stuff that he hadn't done either. And we were driving around downtown Los Angeles, and we saw this store, which had this giant skeleton in it, all dressed up, like royalty, crown on her head, almost like those Virgin Mary statues, except it's, a skeleton. And my friend said, I've been driving down here at night sometimes, and I see there's candles in there at night, and you can hear people chanting. And I got all into it because I'm all into that spirituality and mysticism and what's on the other side. And he said, let's go in.
You do know this is how people die in horror movies, though, right? Like this is exactly how they're like.
Oh, thank God I didn't know that.
Okay, sorry. Please proceed.
But that's how it was. My friend was like, "Let's go in," and I'm like, "Should I go in?" Because I was a little scared. Because there was people inside, and as I found out later, the Santa Muerte followers, a lot of them are very, very rough-edged people, very people you normally wouldn't want to be around. So a lot of those people in there, and all the death stuff, I didn't know what it was. So I go in with my friend, and we stop before we go inside, and he's like, I can't do this. I absolutely can't do this. I gotta go. Because he's into it, but it freaked him out. And I was scared, but I didn't say anything.
Right.
And then it just so happens, he's like, I dare you to go inside. I'm like, without you? He's like, you're into it. You're into it more than me. Put your money where your mouth is.
That's definitely how you die in horror movies, by the way. Actually, this is exactly it. Yeah.
Now that it's like,
it is. Are you a ghost? Did you really not come back from that day? Yeah.
No, it changed my life though. It changed my life. But I went in and there was these people, and it's mostly a Latino cult, and I don't, look very Latino. I have very red hair. I look very Irish.
Cultural appropriation. Oh my god.
It's white boy.
Yeah.
I'm actually half Mexican, for the record.
For the record.
Just not the,
He speaks the language.
phenotypes.
Yeah. It's in here though.
Yeah, it's right.
You're
It's
Mexican
in there.
here. Yeah.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
But, I went in and met with people, and no one really wanted to talk to me because I looked like an outsider. And a lot of these places are very, very underground. A lot of them aren't legal that they're running. So they didn't know if, is this an ICE raid? Is this someone trying to check it out? Is this the cops? They didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
And so no one really talked to me when I asked questions, but they just said, here's a paper. And it's a little self-published newspaper that they made.
Mm-hmm.
And in it is just all these testimonials to death about how she went everything from got a cheating lover to be faithful again, to windfalls of money, to thank God my neighbor got hexed because they were getting on my bad side. And in all these people were just so shot down by everything in life, just such hope in their eyes, and they're talking about death. It was this weird juxtaposition of people who have nothing to hope for, they're finding all this faith and self-confidence and hope in death, which people try to avoid. And I found it fascinating. So I researched more and more on it. And then, meanwhile, I was doing my writer gig because I hadn't been published. And I was sending out my manuscripts out to different publications. And reading about the Santa Muerte, I just really thought it would be a good hook to use, especially in that first chapter introduction. You got to send people because you got to catch their attention and you got to catch it fast. This caught my attention, so I wrote it down, added it into the story somehow, and then pitched it off. And then I don't know why I thought of pitching it to Llewellyn. I was reading a book. They don't publish what I write. So I sent it off to them, and I got a response back. It wasn't the usual, thank you for your reply. We like it. Keep going. We're not going with it. It wasn't any of that. It was longer, so I got excited. I thought, oh my God, here it is. They love my book. Not really. In the letter, it said a lot of things, but the main point of it was, we don't want to publish your book. We're not interested in this. We don't do this, and list of reasons why. But what is this Santa Muerte thing you're talking about?
This Santa Muerte?
Exactly. What is this? Do you know about this? Can you write a book on it? Because we're actually looking to publish a book on it. We just haven't found any authors submit anything to us like that. If you can make this a nonfiction book, we're down. So I replied right away, absolutely. I can do this.
Sure.
Yes. And then, a lot of research later, a lot of my own practicing of the craft of it. And that book was born, La Santa Muerte. The other plug.
Yeah, next to him, yeah. So I do want to talk more about some of the Santa Muerte, especially how people that might be really freaked out about this and is it even okay to even talk about this? But first I want to talk about the fact, let me check our time, make sure we got time. All right, we got time. Why I brought you on the show, besides this, which is self-evident, why I brought you on is the journey that you have taken to this point.
Oh God, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we met under very different circumstances.
Very different circumstances. God,
yeah.
I was a different person then.
You were a very different person then. Yes, you were.
God.
So let me just say, I'm only going to say this tiny part. I'm not going to give any of the details. But I get questions from people all over the world, all the time, pretty much every day, about, well, how do I change my life? How do I fix this relationship? How do I do this? How do I do that? Why am I sad all the time? Blah, blah, blah. Whatever, right? And I respond and I say, here is, some things to think about. Maybe here's something to read. Maybe something to try and apply into your life. And for the most part, 9 times out of 10, people aren't actually looking for solutions. They're looking to be reassured of their current exact situation. They're looking to be reassured that everything they're doing is pretty much okay. Yes, he really does love you. Yes, it is everybody else's fault. And people rarely get that from me. Very, very rarely is that my response. So, this person had his question, had his situation, I put forward my opinion. I was like, maybe think about this, maybe think about that, so on and so forth. In miracle of miracles, he actually listened. In miracle of miracles, he actually started to apply some of the stuff that I was trying to share with him. And oddly enough, things started to change. Very popular, like very quickly.
It worked. You know, it just not all of it was what I wanted to hear, but it's what I absolutely needed to hear, and it changed my life around. Actually, following that advice. Yes, exactly. No, because before that, I think I contacted you. The biggest thing that happened was I was in this, you know, dramatic relationship. I had been stood up, cheated, you know, every horrible thing that could happen to you in a relationship, I was that. But I was doing that successively, going back to the same wrong person, and then finally getting rid of that person and finding someone with similar traits, and just the whole process of getting beaten down again, not physically, but just emotionally, and people didn't care, and cheating. It was awful, and I was tired of it. But I didn't know how to change, because I thought changing was, oh, this person didn't work, let me go to this person.
Right, it's his fault. So.
Right, and it was just the exact same quote-unquote person I was going to, just in different, you know, bodily forms.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got tired of it, and, you know, that was also around the time that my friend introduced me to a book called The Secret and the Law of Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to, you know, fascinated by that. So I looked it up everywhere, was a fan of their Facebook fan page. And in the side of it at the time, there used to be like comments that people would write about The Secret. You know, people would do testimonials and different quotes and different things. And I saw this person named B.D. Walters. Didn't know who he was. Didn't know who he was at all. And, you know, I'm looking through the comments, trying to find some hope, trying to find, you know, how I can win this person back, what I need to do to change my life. And I found it in a roundabout way through your writings and what you wrote in the comments section. And it wasn't specifically geared towards me, because we weren't directly talking, but it was inspirational. And I read it and I knew there's something here. There's something that differentiated this guy's comments from everyone else who posted of the millions of followers of the Secret's fan page. And I thought, I need to get in touch with this guy. I don't know what it is. I messaged you.
It was.
How did that happen?
She was already working for you.
Exactly.
She was already working for you. Yeah, you messaged me.
Yeah, I sent you a message, and I forget exactly what it says. That was 8 years ago.
This was like the very late 2009 was when I started doing that stuff. So this was late 2009, early 2010. So like 5 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. Still, I
it's like a time warp, though. Yeah, really. It might as well have been 50 years.
God.
Looking back. Mm-hmm.
You know, but I contacted him. But you. I contacted you.
See?
Because you're here.
Yes, I am here.
I contacted you, and I think I must have just laid it out, saying,
Yep.
Hey, this is horrible. I don't know how long that message was. My life is like this. I got something out of your messages. Can you help me with this? And then you replied, and here we are today.
So, let me point out something here. The reason why I had him share that story was not so much to be like how amazing I am, even though, let's be honest.
He is.
I'm amazing. It's the point. The point was he actually took action on these things. He actually sought solutions and then applied the solutions and then saw positive results and saw positive changes. And all kinds of things changed for you since then. You were the Red Cross. What was your title with the Red Cross?
I used to be in Reno.
In Reno.
Nevada. I was the External Relations Director of the Red Cross. So I've got my pin.
There it is.
My employee pin.
Still representing. Yeah. And you were how old when you had that?
God, that was 22? 23?
So. 22.
Yeah. 22. I was 22 and I turned 23 during that year, yeah.
Yeah.
I was 22.
Yeah.
God.
You were director with the Red Cross.
Yeah.
You know. But it's amazing how things manifest once you're in motion.
It's true. A lot of people just expect things to kind of just happen, and they want it so bad. But for some reason, and I was one of those people too, they don't want it bad enough to either change something in their life or do something differently. And, a lot of people say, like, I want this. Why isn't it happening? And then you ask the question, well, what are you doing to change it? What are you doing to going out there, getting to it, or at least meeting it halfway and doing something about it? And the answer is, well, no, nothing, or God knows how many answers.
Yep. I'm checking the time again. Yeah. In fact, I think there's more for us to say about this, but I think this is a good place to split it here. So we're going to come back with Mr. Tomas Prower, talk a little bit more about how these things came about, manifesting, how you did. We'll talk a little bit more of the details of this and why it's decidedly not evil. I promise you're not going to hell for the conversation. I promise. I talk to God all the time. I know him. You're good. Okay? All right. So come back for part 2. You on the radio, I'm probably going to play some music or something. I'm going to do a thing, and then we will come back with the next session, Mr. Tomas Prower. Wait, let me get in one more time. Can we get it in? I'm gonna make the camera focus in on it. On the book instead of one of us. Yes, available everywhere. Amazon, Barnes & Noble, fine independent retailers. Buy a copy, buy 2 copies. All right? We'll be right back. Here we go.